Welcome to the Chicago Bears Podcast, a presentation of ESPN Chicago, Chicago's home for sports. Here's your host, Pat, the designer.
Bear down, Bears fans. Welcome into a Friday edition. We are bringing the week to a close. The smog technically is gone. All the smoke is out of here. I had to walk in here today. We can breathe again, but we still got Bears football to talk. And on the show today, we got Tyler Aki in the building, resident host here at ESPN 1000. Also going to be hosting the college football show on Saturday. How you feeling today, bro?
Good. I'll be sure to get you all the scouts for that Panther pick for next year. So I'll have all the players that you need to be looking at for next year's draft.
I hope so. I looked at that schedule. I was like, there's hope. But we'll see what Bryce ends up being. But at the end of the day, this is Packer week. We're breaking down Bears Packers. We've been doing this all week. Had a bunch of great guests on. Glad to have you here because now we got to just talk about who's going to be the best team at the end of this. Where will each team finish in the division? Let's start there. When you look at kind of how the division is playing out, everybody's expecting the Lions to take this massive jump. I don't know if they will. I think they'll take maybe a game or two jump, but I don't know if it's going to be a massive jump. The Vikings are the biggest question mark in the division as a whole. Green Bay, Chicago, when you see how they're going to fare in the division, who do you think ends up coming out on the winning end of the divisional matchups?
I really do think it's the Bears. And you just look at the quarterback position. There's so much unknown with Jordan Love right now. And I said this the other day, like, could we see Jordan Love Mitch his way to the playoffs, right? Like, that's the way I put it. Mitch his way to the playoffs.
I love it.
Because the ancillary pieces around him are still pretty good. You got two up-and-coming receivers with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. You have an offensive line that's returning some good pieces. Defensively, they really seemed like they found their groove at the end of the season when they started to make a little bit of a run there. So they've got some pieces around there, but it all centers around the quarterback there, and that may be the greatest unknown in the entire NFL right now is what exactly is Jordan Love in this league?
That's 100%. I'll give you that because to me, when I look at what the Packers are going to try to do, and I really think that there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for a lot of teams in this league. I don't know if you saw the new handoff rules when they dropped that, but the fact that the running back can't run in front of you, that takes a second away from the RPO, which could change things for defenses, make it a little harder on Jordan Love to do things. But when I look at these divisional matchups, to me anyway, I see a Packers defense that is underwhelmed the entire time. I mean, they've got a ton of names on there. You got a ton of first-round picks on this team, but we haven't seen them be able to put it together defensively in the slightest. Now there's no Aaron Rodgers to just go out there and outscore everybody on this team. You look at the running game, you hope that running game is going to continue to do what it's done for the last few years here with that dynamic duo that they have back there. But eventually people are just going to stack the box. Jordan Love is going to have to make plays. That is going to be the great unknown. And the one thing that I guess that we still really don't know about Jordan Love is how much is he going to be able to use his legs to accentuate if they do stack the box, keep plays alive, different things like that, like Justin Fields can.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see it because, again, he's from a smaller school, Utah State.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of buzz with him heading into that draft, but he ended up slipping, I think, a little bit further down the board than I believe his initial draft prospect kind of ranking played out there. So there is so much unknown with him, and we've seen little splashes, right? Like we've seen preseason games. Yeah. He got into action. He started a game during the COVID season and all that. So like, we've seen little bits and pieces of Jordan Love, but we haven't seen, all right, Jordan Love, you've had a full training camp. You've had a full amount of time to develop chemistry. We haven't seen that yet. The only thing we really know about Jordan Love is underwhelming, right? Like we've heard reports from Packers camps in years past when he wasn't going to be the starter, but they were still during times when Aaron was being Aaron, like won't he play for the Packers? That whole thing was in limbo. And everything that we sort of heard about Jordan Love was, oh boy, they're not getting 3 in a row, right? So at this point, like as a Bears fan, you're feeling optimistic, but it's not like, it's more so that, hey, the Packers might be bad as opposed to you're really good and you're going to go past them. No, it feels more like the Packers are sliding the other way.
I'm not gonna lie to you. We had Matt Schneidman on yesterday. Covers the Packers for The Athletic. Really good writer. Does a really good job covering the Packers. Matt. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got a little gets taking it back. Small circles out here. It's hilarious though, because how he described the Packers was a team that's gonna try and run the football and beat teams on the ground. You hope the quarterback doesn't screw up. Think that they have a really good defense. And I was like, oh, it's so good just to hear Packers fans talk about their team like Bears fans have talked about their team now.
Make them sweat a little.
For 10, 20, 30, 40. I mean, it's been our entire history of just like, well, we hope that the running game keeps us alive and the quarterback doesn't screw it up. So I look at that. I mean, when you look at how this division is going to break down, how do you think the Packers are going to fare versus Lions, Vikings, and, of course, Bears?
I do think the Packers are the last place team in this division. I mean, it's
Matt had them at 10 wins, by the way. I just want to throw that out
a little
there.
More optimistic.
Very optimistic.
Well, so he thinks that they could maybe mitch their way to the playoffs.
Mitch their way to the playoffs. He does, yes.
There's a chance. Listen, there's a chance it happens. I don't think Jordan Love has to be spectacular.
Yeah.
But if he can just be average, then yes, I agree. Like they could be a 10-win team and they could win the division. Oof. Like if he is just average right now, because you look at the crop of quarterbacks in the NFC North, like it's a lot of average. And I think if you look at kind of the surrounding pieces, I do think it could be neck and neck between the Lions and the Packers as the best outside of quarterback rosters. Like you look at
that wide receiver weaponry in Green Bay, though. I mean, that not a lot of experience. Not a lot of experience,
but we've seen
good talent at the end of the season,
right? Like they could be good. And that's, I think, the word that you have to, or the phrase that you have to use with the Packers is it's a lot of could be, right? Yeah. Like Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson could be the best tandem of wide receivers in the division when it's all said and done. Like you look at some of the things that have happened. Some team like Minnesota's lost pieces from a year ago. Even Detroit's lost some pieces from a year ago. The Bears really were the only team that added. And then you look at the Packers and they kind of was status quo aside from Aaron Rodgers in terms of additions and subtractions. Not a lot of change there in Green Bay. I think, well, here's the one change that I think the Bears have that is a positive and possibly for the Packers could be a negative. Robert Tonyan was a safety blanket. Yes.
A absolute, if you've got a young player, we talked about this when Justin came in, right? If Matt Nagy could run any semblance of an offense, right? Mm-hmm. You had Jimmy Graham there to be the safety blanket for your young quarterback. You felt like, okay, we got a vet in the building that at least we know he can catch the football when it's thrown his way in the end zone. Of course, Matt Nagy puts Jason Peters out there versus 25-year-old pass rushers who he ends up getting killed by. But no disrespect to Jason Peters. You are very good and large. You are okay on this podcast.
I think Pat just challenged you to a fight.
I did not. Do not believe that. I saw him at training camp when the Bears, was it training camp? No, they brought him in right before the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw him like right before the season started up close, and I was like, oh God. Like I've never seen a human being that big. That isn't. And now we look at the offensive line now, and they're all massive. But yeah, I think here's my thing with Jordan Love. I think that the fact that the system is already there, everything is already built in. It's not new to him.
That's a good point.
That is going to be a help to him. But a lot of the weaponry there outside of that running back position, I just feel, I mean, you got two new tight ends in the building. Christian Watson came on late, but a lot of that we were like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. We'll see if that continues. Romeo Doubs is a nice player, but like it's all going to hinge on, is Jordan Love going to be able to go out there and make throws? And is that Packers offensive line going to be able to stay healthy, which was an issue for them last season too.
Mm-hmm. You bring up something interesting with Christian Watson. His big thing last year was drops, right? Like, first play of his career, he had a walk-in touchdown and boom, through the hands right against the Vikings week 1. But I wonder if it's the Aaron Rodgers effect.
The pressure.
I think yes, the pressure. Maybe it works in the inverse here. Maybe these guys, these young rookie receivers, now second-year receivers, feel a little bit looser, a little bit more relaxed because it's not, if I mess this up, like I'm letting down Aaron Rodgers. Now it's like I'm letting down Jordan Love. And like, listen, like it's not the same, right? It doesn't have the same.
I don't mind letting you down. I hear it.
But like maybe there's not that same level of pressure. Like you're thinking too much, especially for young receivers. You might be thinking a little too much with Aaron Rodgers, whereas with Jordan Love, you're maybe playing a little bit more free flowing as a wideout.
Possibly
and the fact that, hey, second year in the NFL, first year jitters are out of the way too.
Yeah, possibly. And I think, again, second year in this system, we're talking about very much how, with Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields here in Chicago, those things are going to help second year in this system. So Packers are going to be an interesting team. Let's look at this schedule. Let's run down this schedule real quick. Let's give a little prediction here because I think that there's a lot here where the Packers schedule kind of lends to them having an okay start to the season. It's going to get hairy in the middle of there. So let's just first off, what's your Bears prediction? I have Bears right now finishing the season 9-8 with a possible 10 if the Chargers are the Chargers.
Yeah, I have 9-8 as well.
Okay. So we got the Bears there, 9-8. Week 1 versus the Bears. How you feeling about the Bears going into that one?
I do think it's a Bears victory. I think that you've got the quarterback advantage. You've got a bunch of new pieces on defense. I think there's a little bit of mystique and unknown for the Bears too, that maybe they can catch the Packers off guard a little bit. There's not a lot of continuity in terms of the personnel. So I feel like that coupled with, all right, Justin's in a second. It's kind of like what you said about the Packers, like with Jordan Love, like that's one of the things working in his favor is the fact that he's had the continuity in the system every single year in the NFL.
Yeah.
But now I look at with the Bears and Justin Fields, I think it's more important because Justin Fields has the game reps.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jordan Love has the practice reps, but Justin's got the game reps. And I think that's going to pay off big time for the Bears in week 1. I think they'll be able to take that game. And I think it could be kind of convincing too. Like, I think we could be looking at like a 10-point win.
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even realize until Matt brought it up yesterday that Adrian Amos no longer is there. He was basically their best safety. And we got DJ Moore. I see a lot of deep shots because that safety room was not pretty last season. I got the Bears, like you said, winning pretty convincing there. So we got the Packers starting 0-1 at Atlanta week 2. What are you thinking?
At Atlanta, that's an interesting game. I mean, you open up the season, back-to-back road games there. Listen, Atlanta's kind of
not good.
The Atlanta team, right? Like it's a lot of flashy pieces, right? Like you have Kyle Pitts, you drafted Drake London last year, you brought in Bijan Robinson this year in the draft, but like who's getting them the football?
Yeah, there's a ton of questions.
I'll take the Packers there. I think that the pieces around the edges could help out because I don't know who is the quarterback for Atlanta right now.
That would be
is it Desmond Ritter?
It's Desmond Ritter. It's still Desmond Ritter. Yeah, they're still riding that train.
You might have the leg up there in the quarterback room.
Maybe he hits his stride here this season. I don't see it. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of Cordero Patterson still down there.
Yeah, I believe
they will not be able to stop Cordero Patterson. I will say that.
But that's the other thing is like Cordero Patterson could be one of those post June 1st cut like training camp casualties too.
That's true.
Because you bring in Bijan Robinson on a rookie deal. Like, sure, there's ways you could be creative and use Cordell Patterson, but at the same time, it's like, is there too many mouths to feed there?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Hey, I do miss you here, dog. How about them Bears? Come on back. You know what? I'll agree with you on that. I got a 1-1 through the first 2 weeks. New Orleans is week 3. I don't think they beat New Orleans. I don't think they have a chance to beat New Orleans. I know it's Derek Carr. I know that's a new system. I know they're trying to work a lot of new things in. But Derek Carr is not a bad quarterback. He's just not the quarterback that you wanted to see in that Raiders system year after year after year anymore. And I think it's going to actually help him that he's no longer there.
I agree with you on the overarching premise. I just think the timing of it doesn't work out. You're also at home. Yeah. I mean, you can pull up the Derek Carr home road splits or like outside versus inside dome versus not dome. It ain't pretty. Yeah. So I'll give the Packers the win against.
You got Packers 2-1. I got them 1-2 right now. Lions week 4.
Now, the Lions swept them last year.
I think they probably will again.
But this is a Thursday night game, and I feel like the Thursday night home teams, it usually lends itself to sometimes you can see an upset there. Yeah. So with the Thursday night home game early in the season, I'm actually going to take the Packers there.
You got the Packers starting the season 3-1 right now, my guy. You got them on a roll right here.
I think it could be a little dicey down the stretch.
It is going to get ugly.
Look easy,
this is going to be one of those, right, where what was the Bears started off we start off 8-0 or 7-1
7-1
under Nagy, and then like we just continued to go on multiple losing streaks. Week 5 versus the Vegas Raiders in Vegas right before that bye week. How you feeling about that one?
That's a Monday night game. A lot of rest there. Like that's that. Remember the last
Thursday,
year the Bears
Monday,
had the mini bye
Yeah.
last year. So I'm wondering, hey, and remember the Bears went on the road to New England to win that game. Dominated. So I as much as I
going
think
4-1
the
here?
situation could lend itself, I think it'll be a close game, but I'll take the Raiders.
See, to me, I have no faith in Josh McDaniels. I think he is one of the worst head
I'm with
coaches
you.
to ever get multiple jobs and multiple job offers. I will take the Vegas Raiders losing that game to the Packers. So right now you have the Packers 3-2 at the bye. I believe I have them 2-3 right now at the bye. Still not bad though. You're still 2-3, 3-2 is probably where a lot of Packer fans kind of see the season starting off for them. If you think 5-0, you're insane.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's kind of like, okay, we're working in a new quarterback. We're making things, we're trying to make some adjustments here. It's going to take a few weeks to get used to that. You're starting off 2-3, 3-2. You're still competitive in the division. Yeah. You're still trying to win games.
Especially in a division where it wouldn't shock me if 9 wins it.
At all. And I think that's the thing. When we go through the rest of these weeks, that's going to be the theme of all of this. I think the Bears can be in the hunt. And I still don't think that we'll talk about them as oh my God, they're going to be a Super Bowl caliber team. Like next season and stuff. Because I think the Bears can win 9 games and be in second place.
Yeah.
Which is a playoff team. You're in the hunt. All of that's great.
Meaningful December football.
Still not a good football team. A very average football team. And I want people to remember that. As we got the bye week 6. Good rest for the Packers on that one. Week 7 now at the Denver Broncos. You got Sean Payton teaming up with Russell Wilson here. I almost said Westbrook. Russell Wilson, I do that every time. How you feeling about that? In Denver, by the way.
Yeah, I do think.
This is where it gets ugly?
Yes. I think this Denver team is due for a big turnaround. I think bringing Sean Payton in there, he's not taking that job unless he thinks he can fix Russ.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, I don't see the need to go to Denver when there were a couple other of enticing openings or maybe even potential openings that could have been made if Sean Payton had his eyes set somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like if Sean Payton, if there were some cahoots there and he said, I kind of like Los Angeles, I could stay here, work with Justin Herbert, but who knows, maybe he didn't have his eye. Maybe he didn't want to play or he didn't want to work in LA anymore. Like, I look at Sean Payton and what he can bring in Denver, and I'm actually pretty excited for this Broncos team this year.
I don't think Sean Payton's ever had a losing season with any quarterback. Or a losing record, I should say, at the end with any quarterback. I believe he has a winning record with Teddy. He's got a winning record with Jameson. I think he's going to do the same thing. He's going to work his magic. Yeah. He's going to, and listen, as corny, as goofy as whatever we want to say Russ is not the quarterback we saw last season. No. And we heard about what was going on that sideline.
Yes.
Like that was some
and
of
on those planes too.
Yeah. Dog. Well, hey, high knees, baby. High knees. Minnesota coming to Green Bay. After that, so you have them right now 3-3. Minnesota coming into town. They get a dub at home versus Minnesota.
I'll take the Vikings here. I just think that some of the matchups, like Minnesota, feels like matches up well against Green Bay, given like the Justin Jefferson match. I know he's quiet the second time around against that week 1.
Very quiet.
Ooh,
that week 1 was dominant.
Was something. But I'll take the Vikings here in the spot.
So right now 3-4, and then the Rams coming in. Rams, I don't know what the Rams are, and everyone's gone off of the defense.
Yeah,
Stafford is kind of like, does he still play there? Yeah, I mean, like, what do the Rams do? You see them as a team that's competitive this year. You see them like taking a large step back.
I look at the Rams as. Like, I don't think that NFC West is very good outside of San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think
which is a switch.
Yeah. So like Seattle was a cute team last year, but I don't know what their long-term outlook is. Like, Geno, is he really going to do that again? Right. Like I have a lot of the same questions with Geno as I do with Daniel Jones. Like, can you do it again when there's a full year of film on you like that? So I'll take the Packers to beat the Rams in this one, and it's at home too.
At home,
I like the Pack in that game.
So you got them right now.
I think that's 4-4.
4-4. Whew. This is not a bad season for the Packers, according to him.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of 500.
I will tell you that. Here's the funny part. Going through the Bears schedule, It's the same thing. Like you feel kind of the same way. At Pittsburgh, going in there versus Mike Tomlin. I don't know. I love the receiving core there, but I still don't know what the heck Kenny Pickett is. How you feeling about Pittsburgh coming into this one?
I like the Steelers in this game. I just think the Steelers are one of those teams where like you can't count them out ever because of the coaching advantage that they have going into pretty much every game. And the preparation and all that. You're at home. Yeah. And I think at this point, like this could be the point in the season too. What is this, week 10?
This is week 10.
Where Kenny Pickett gets a little more comfortable. He'll have about a full year of NFL experience under his belt at this point. Like I think that this could be a good Steeler, like a very convincing Steeler win.
This is where the tide turns for him at this point. Okay. 4-5. You got the Chargers the week after that. That is a tough game. The gold package game. I don't know what those even mean.
Probably just means Packers. Those people they con into buying the stock. Like they have to pay even more.
The stocks went up. Team is terrible, but
Business
it's not
is booming.
Chargers. How you feeling about that? Chargers is a weird situation because I love Herbert, but I also hate Herbert.
I love me some Justin Herbert.
But I feel like Phillip Rivers just passed on the mantle. It's like you want second half and fourth quarter meltdowns? There you go, bud. I got you right here. I like Herbert. I just don't trust Herbert all the time.
Here's something. Is Brandon Staley the head coach still at this point? Week 11? Like,
can you fight? Here's the thing. I don't think they'll be bad. And I think that's the hard part. I don't think the Chargers will be bad.
So you don't think like
but I don't think that they'll be what the Chargers are looking to do with Herbert.
Right.
So are you going to fire a head coach even though you're winning in the season? It's not what you want.
And it's like it's LA. They're not going to put the heat on in LA. Yeah. Right. Like it's not Boston. It's not New York. It's not Philly. Yeah. Like they're not. The heat won't be on Staley.
I got plenty of stuff I can watch outside of the Chargers.
Right.
Yeah.
I still will take the Chargers in this game. Like they've got just weapons, man. Like bringing in Quentin Johnston to like there's just weapons on weapons on weapons on that team. So I think you're gonna have to keep pace with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see what Jordan Love is, but like can Jordan Love keep pace with? I don't think he can.
And I think their Chargers' biggest question is always just the health of the weapons out there. Like they've got plenty of weapons. They've got plenty of guys that can go to and
hopefully
attack.
Have Rashawn Slater for a full season here too. Like that's going to be a big bring back after he missed a lot of time last year with injuries. So
we'll see. I will agree with you on that. I do think that Packers are going back-to-back losses here. It puts him at what, 4-6 right now?
That's what I got him at. Yes,
4-6 right now. Detroit on Thanksgiving.
Short week there. Thanksgiving game for Detroit. I'm going to take the Lions.
4-7. It's getting ugly out here. Kansas City Chiefs.
4-8.
Whoo! This is where it turns down. Now here's the tough part. Here's my biggest question mark team coming into this season. You got the Packers can turn it around a little bit here. You've got the Buccaneers coming in, and this is a little bit of a part of the schedule that I think they'll be able to compete in. But that Buccaneers offense is a question mark for me, not that Buccaneers defense. That front line is still very scary to me. How do you think the Buccaneers are going to be this season?
I look at the Bucs. Mike Evans is in the last year of his deal. Yeah. Like we're going to be past the trade deadline at this point. Is he still going to be a Buck? Or because that's a team that needs to recoup a lot of salary and a lot of draft picks. So are they going to be a team that's in the market to try to just kind of do what the Bears did and just try to like acquire assets, acquire draft pick, shed salary? I think they could be one of those teams. So we could see a different look Bucs team. Listen, a Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, whoever ends up on top of that quarterback battle is standing on a pretty short mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that Buck. Like I think
they're blowing it up this season.
I think the Bucs could be the worst team in the league this year.
Oof. Here's the tough part, right? Do you blow it up if Baker gives you one of those Baker Cleveland years where you're not going to be the best team in the league, but maybe you can kind of insulate them?
You're like a 7-win team.
You're a 7-8-win team, and you're like, okay, well maybe we re-sign Mike Evans. We've still got this defense. I don't think the Bucs are going to be a Super Bowl contender here, But do they bottom it all out? I think that's going to be the question, especially if Baker just catch. We've seen Baker catch a heater for 3-4 weeks in a row, and then it falls off a cliff. We know what he is.
Well, my question too is like, will management let them compete?
Yeah, that's true.
Like the whole adage is teams don't tank, front offices tank. Yeah. And like, are they going to or are they going to try to win this Caleb Williams sweepstakes or get into the Drake May conversation?
Yeah.
Like, because they feel like one of those teams that could just be a quarterback away from being like really good, or at least like sustaining success over the next 5-7 years. They could just be a quarterback away. You've got a couple of big time prospects in this year's draft. Do you really just let it fly this year so you can go out and get one of those top dogs?
And here's the hardest part about all of that. I mean, you could still get you can still have a nice draft pick in there, but it's about how high do you want to get. I mean, 7 wins last year. Carolina selected what in the draft? They were 10th? Ninth?
Yeah.
They had 7 wins.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So you really have to kind of sit there and gauge, okay, like, is 7 wins really the worst thing we can do? Do we bottom this out? Because now I get my young quarterback in there. I have that. I love that. But now I don't have Mike Evans because we're a terrible team. Now I've got no weapons on the offense. Now I've traded away most of my defense to try and recoup this draft capital and start everything from the studs. I think they're probably, like I said, they're the most interesting team to me. Now at the end of the day, they could just bottom it out by the end of it. So how do you I skipped the Giants. How the heck did I miss the Giants?
It's a Monday night game there. I'll take the Giants in that one.
I got Giants in that one too. Although I think there's going to be, like I said, with that handoff rule, Daniel Jones is going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
RPO is going to be in trouble. Like, Daniel Jones is going to be in absolute trouble this season. But I will take the Giants there. So you've got them losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row there.
I think it gets dicey at this point.
How you got them going against the Bucks?
I will take the Packers to win that game. That's where they get off the losing streak.
Okay, 5 wins. What is that at that point? 5-15, 5-10 at that point for the Packers.
5-9.
5-9 at that point. Yeah, because of the bye week. 5-9 at that point. Carolina Panthers. I think the Panthers might be. They were a 7-win team last year. They might still be trying to compete at this point.
Yeah, like I saw a video on Twitter probably about a month ago, and it had like all the different Panther additions, and there were just like some fringe additions where you look at the roster now, and they're not bad enough to be terrible. Like, I don't think the Panthers are a good team, but they're not the worst team. I don't even think they're one of the 5 worst teams in the league. It does scare me a little bit if you're a Panthers fan when you see the pictures of Bryce Young walking up to the line, and it looks like they let the kindergartner play with his older brothers. Right?
Now, that is a fact. I'm not going to – here's the one thing that never is not – I don't care. I know we can name all these short quarterbacks that – bro, listen, it's just logic. The 5'9" guy is not going to be able to see over the 6'5" guy.
Yeah.
It's just logic. And there's other 6'5" guys on the other side. He's going to have – I think he's going to have a tough time in the beginning. I think he will eventually adjust. I think he's going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be the worst quarterback we've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I think he will be a solid NFL quarterback.
I don't know if I'll go that far. I think he'll be okay.
Okay.
I think he will be what's a good comp for him?
But like, I don't see him winning Rookie of the Year.
No. I don't see
that.
Like,
if you had to give me a head-to-head between him and CJ Stroud to win Rookie of the Year,
Stroud.
I'm taking Stroud.
Give me Stroud.
Yeah.
Because I also think the thing is, there's that first overall pick, right? You know the pressure, everything that's going to be on him. They're going to try to protect him a little bit. They're not going to have him putting passes out there for them to get snatched up. They're not going to be having him taking a million deep shots, right? I think in Texas, CJ Stroud's letting it fly. Yeah. It's like, I don't have much to lose.
To who?
There's not. I don't know. but I think
he's going to let it fly.
I think this is one of those situations where there's not much of a team here.
Right.
So, like, what are you going to blame me? You're going to blame me for this? Like, so I think CJ's in a little bit of a better situation there. I do got the Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers to win this one. I'm not going to lie to you, because I think that the Panthers have a flip of the Packers. Their first 7, they might go 1-6. Mm-hmm. After that, I think they'll kind of get a little bit more on track. And then you got Minnesota a second time.
Yeah, I think the second time around, Jordan Love with a little more experience. I think we could see like this Vikings team that experienced so much success last year, a lot of it coming in 1-score games. I think it'll regress to the mean a little bit the other way. And this could be a Vikings team that by this point in the season may be a little frustrated with themselves.
Might be 8-9 win team. Yeah.
Right. So I'll take the Packers on the road in that game.
All right. You got them at 6 wins right now. 6 wins? Yeah, 6 wins.
6 wins.
How do they finish out the season versus our beloved Chicago Bears? Do the Bears come in here and handle business and possibly make the playoffs, or is this one where the Packers bring it back home?
I do think the Packers end with a victory in this game. I just look at like Jordan Love will at this point have a full season.
Yeah.
I think there's still talent on this team. Now it depends. Like if Justin Fields is that dude, then
just squashes them.
I'm gonna take the Bears. I'll take the Bears. It's always tough to predict kind of the last 3 weeks of the NFL season, right? Because injuries, who's really still playing, to win stuff and all that stuff. But just like in a vacuum sort of pick here, like I'll take the Packers.
You got 7-10 right there. That would have them essentially kind of how we're thinking. 4th place still in the division, but not a bad season for the Packers, I would think, if you're switching this over.
Yeah, like 4th place, 7-10, I feel like is not a bad team.
Yeah.
Right. Like a 4th place, 7-10. Like in a lot of divisions, you'll see 4th place be a 5, 6, sometimes even like 4-win team, right? So 7 wins for a 4th place team. I think you take that.
It's not bad if you're the Packers, but it is 4th place. You would be behind the Bears, and that's all that matters on this podcast. No, I agree with you. I think that's kind of – I think it could go one of two ways. That's kind of more the range I'm leaning towards as we're getting closer to the season, and you're kind of seeing more from training camp. It doesn't seem like – people want to make it seem like Jordan Love is, a million miles away from being a usable quarterback. Right. He's just not. He's been in the system. He knows there'll be a few games of, trying to find their way into the division and figure out how to get consistent wins. But realistically, they're probably going to be right around here. That's still not a good football team. It's the worst football team in the division by my estimation, but it won't be the worst by much.
Yeah, I look at Jordan Love. It's like, I don't think there will be a lot of mental hiccups because, like you mentioned, he's been in the system for so long. But the physical hiccups, I think, is what you'll see with him. Trying to adjust to the game speed, all that. I think it'll be more physical and just, I don't know how good he really is, like his talent level. I think it'll be more of a physical problem with him as opposed to a mental problem.
He always looks like the worst quarterback in those pictures when they're like working with the trainers like Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields. I think Stroud's down there as well. And then it's like Jordan Love. And it's like, oh, God. Like, yeah, you look like you playing Green Bay, dog. Hey, let us know how you guys think the Packers will finish in the season. I think most people will probably agree with us, or they'll have them with less wins. But I do think that the Packers will be the worst team in the division. You guys let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Tyler, appreciate you coming on the pod, man.
Fun stuff.
Had to have you fill in, but we got to have you on more often, man.
Love to do it again.
For sure. Pat. Let's keep this thing going. As always, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again for Tyler Aki. Make sure y'all drop a bird down in the chat. Y'all stay safe out here. Packers worst team in the division. Respect it. Peace.